Bom dia a todos. Eu queria começar por agradecer à Online Birds vir a estar connosco esta manhã, ter convidado o Filipe Engalina, que é cofundador da Online Birds, para se juntar a nós e também juntando-se a Google, quer a Stephanie Karch, quer o Philip, vamos, obviamente, ter que falar mais diretamente, e temos por isso cá connosco o Stefan Nenick, sobre a nova ferramenta que a Online Bird desenvolveu, o Hotel Digital Score. Queria-vos só dar nota que a Online Birds é parceira da Associação de Hotelaria de Portugal desde o início de 2019. É uma empresa de marketing digital especializada em hotéis individuais, mas com grupos e cadeias hoteleiras, e que está focada no marketing digital, otimização de mecanismos de pesquisa e publicidade, e-mail marketing e desenvolvimento de sites. Esta ferramenta, o Hotel Digital Score, foi lançada recentemente, em 2019, na Alemanha, Áustria e Suíça, e foi logo premiada pela Associação de Hotéis, daí também a nossa o nosso interesse em acompanharmos esta ferramenta, avalia de facto 19 parâmetros em diferentes áreas de social media marketing, search engine optimization, search engine advertising, email marketing, etc., para que o hotel possa obter uma determinada pontuação no seu site, e a partir daí poder, com uma análise mais fina, em que campos, em que áreas é que deve melhorar a sua performance, e fornece também recomendações individuais. Eu queria apenas dar nota, nós já todos sabemos, mas eu não sei se tiveram a oportunidade de ver, a Oliver Wyman e a WTTC fizeram um estudo muito exaustivo sobre o futuro e o que se estava a passar na indústria do turismo. Todos estão a fazê-lo, mas há sobretudo um capítulo que eles chamam o Travelers Digital Boom. E no fundo dizem, neste momento já sabemos que a digitalização, que já era uma trend, obviamente, na nossa indústria, mas já nos últimos anos, mas de facto esta questão de estarmos cada vez mais em casa acelerou a nossa necessidade e a nossa dependência e a nossa vontade também de usar as tecnologias digitais, e cada vez o fazemos com mais à vontade. Mesmo até em cadeias tradicionais, por exemplo, a Hilton dizia que, de facto, há uma transformação que se está cada vez mais a verificar nos seus próprios consumidores, os próprios, até de gerações mais velhas, que já usam meios de pagamentos, ou que usaram periodicamente meios de pagamentos, agora cada vez mais dizem que o vão continuar a fazer, qualquer coisa como 70%, mesmo depois do Covid. Contactless payment methods, videoconferências, 70% das pessoas pretendem continuar a usar estes métodos. Por exemplo, pessoas que, por exemplo, em 3 meses, como sabemos, o Zoom passou de 10 milhões de utilizadores para 200 milhões, logo nos 3 primeiros meses da pandemia. A adoção, de facto, de métodos de conferências digitais no mundo inteiro aumentou quase 90%, portanto, isto não está limitado às gerações mais novas, mas a todas as gerações. Portanto, há aqui uma necessidade, uma oportunidade nesta revolução digital, digamos assim, em que, de facto, cada vez mais os consumidores confiam, dependem, mas são exigentes relativamente à tecnologia. Um survey também muito recente diz que o aumento de potenciais viajantes nas redes sociais aumentou 44%, e 88% dos americanos revelam que querem usar, de facto, as aplicações mobile dos hotéis para fazerem o check-in, e cada vez mais as viagens virtuais, e cada vez mais as recomendações, e cada vez mais o posicionamento online dos hotéis são decisivos para que depois a concretização da venda se faça. De facto, se há alguma oportunidade que esta crise trouxe, sabemos que é um lugar comum dizer que realmente as crises abrem uma oportunidade, mas esta é de facto uma oportunidade. Ou seja, esta revolução digital é um catalisador, foi um catalisador da transformação no turismo, no setor do turismo e das viagens, e esta necessidade de integrar novas tecnologias no nosso mindset, da forma como nos posicionamos no mundo, na forma como nos relacionamos com o nosso cliente. Portanto, esta disrupção digital traz consigo a necessidade também e uma vaga, no fundo, de inovação e que, a nosso ver, pode ser depois seguida pelo crescimento. E é isto que é importante e é disto que vamos falar hoje, que é, de facto, como é que esta inovação, esta vaga de inovação, nos pode levar a um crescimento. E como é que nós podemos abraçar, não apenas na relação com os nossos clientes, mas também isto, no fundo, requer mudanças na workforce, não é? Nos nossos colaboradores. Tem que haver também uma adaptação e este gap, no fundo, que ainda se sente em mercados de trabalho, em determinados segmentos de trabalho, pode ser realmente uma barreira à adoção das novas tecnologias e ao crescimento do turismo. E, portanto, nesse sentido, percebermos quem é que está no mercado, quem é que funciona melhor, que recomendações, não apenas o diagnóstico, mas também as recomendações e este caminho para podermos estar mais perto dos nossos clientes é essencial. E daí podermos, de facto, contar, e mais uma vez agradeço à Online Birds por vir partilhar connosco e por estar disponível. Como sabem, tivemos testes gratuitos para nossos associados e ainda temos condições muito especiais para poderem fazer este diagnóstico e para aproveitarmos este tempo de forçosa paragem para nos podermos ajustar e adaptar e estar na linha da frente das pesquisas e das reservas. São intenções, bem o sabemos, mas são, de facto, aquilo que vai criando e deixando a semente para depois podermos crescer. Muito obrigada a todos e uma boa manhã de trabalho.
So thank you very much, Christina, for the very nice intro. I highly appreciate it. And I'd love to introduce you, first of all, to our company, for those of you who don't know Online Birds. So Caroline, yeah, lovely. So I hope you can all see our very, very modest corporate color pink. So first of all, I'd love to say hello from Berlin, Germany. As you guys can see, it's quite grayish as well. And we are expecting one of the snowiest seasons we ever had since the 70s here in Germany. So somehow the weather is going crazy. But first of all, I'd love to introduce you to Online Birds. We are an online marketing company, as some of you know already, as the name says, and we opened an office in Lisbon about 3 years ago from now on, and started to address the Portuguese market 1 year ago concerning online marketing, how to help hotels getting more direct bookings and decreasing costs by getting bookings through our booking.com, etc., which is or has been due to the crisis always a great threat to the whole industry. And Caroline, if you would be so kind to continue. So first of all, let me introduce the ladies and gentlemen who are participating from our side today. First of all, Deborah is joining us from our offices in Lisbon, unfortunately home office today due to the current situation, but she will be able to translate everything from Portuguese into English for us, because at some point we do understand a bit Portuguese, but unfortunately not speak it perfectly. So this is why Deborah is joining us today and possibly giving us the aspect to translate a few things. Caroline, who is the head of marketing at Online Birds and who is responsible for all marketing measures for our hotel clients, which are currently in 12 countries, but I'll get to that later on. Stefan, who has a very interesting role in Portugal, because he was responsible for opening the office and lived 1 year in Lisbon and made sure that we have so many nice cooperators there in the country and a nice office. So thank you very much, Stefan, for joining us. And he's going to introduce you to the Hotel Digital Score, which we translated and adapted completely to the Portuguese market, as well as a sign of how huge our interest is in that market and how much we believe in that market. We'll have a word about that later. And my name is Philip. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. And as I said, I'm located in Berlin, but we currently have 3 offices. We have one in Lisbon, one in Berlin, and one in Munich, to give you a short overview. So on the next slide, well, we as a company thrive to achieve a certain mission. So I myself used to work in hospitality industry, and I got to know our CEO and my fellow co-founder Andre during my studies at the University of Applied Sciences when we specialized in hospitality marketing. And we realized there is a huge challenge for hotels, and that particular challenge is that hotels have difficulties in competing with booking.com and finding the right strategy to choose a particular online marketing channel. So we defined our huge vision that we want to support hotels as a company by making them visible and competitive in the digital world. So this is our claim. To sum it up in one sentence, it's always very difficult, as you might find out later. But to give you an idea on who we work for, so on the next slide, it shows you that we mostly have, so I said to Christina in advance, we have around 60% of leisure hotel clients, meaning these are hotels in areas such as the Algarve, such as in the Alps, such as in Switzerland, in Spain, on islands such as Mallorca, Tenerife, Ibiza, etc. So I'm going to share some insights from those countries with you as well later on, if you're interested in how they are competing and coping, most of all, with the current situation. But we also work for big hotel chain brands like Marriott, you might know Moxie Hotels, the Meridian, etc. But I'll give you intro to that later on, but mostly private clients. And one important information for you all is that we are no investor-held company. We are completely privately owned, meaning that this is why I'm so gray with my young 41 years. We've spent a lot of work and effort in that company to build it up, and it's our decision which market to address. And it was our decision to aim to Portugal because we believe in this country, despite the fact that it's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to, especially Lisbon. It's a marvelous city. Yeah, I introduced you already to the office locations. First of all, on the next slide, I'm going to introduce you to the agenda for today. It is my sheer pleasure that Stephanie is joining us. She's usually living in Ireland, but due to the COVID situation, she'll tell you herself later on, she's going to speak from her home office as well, and she's from Google, so we will get some insights on the current situation in Europe, etc., from Google. So I'm very excited that Google is joining us on this particular trip. And this might be something you want to learn of. We are very, as you might find out, strongly attached to Google because we believe that especially fields like SEA, like hotel ads, like, for example, discovery ads are very good measures to help you gain visibility even during lockdown area. But I'm going to introduce you to the particular topics later on. Then we have Stefan joining us, as I said already, and he's going to give you a brief overview of the Hotel Digital Score, why we started with this idea, and we actually won an innovation award 2019 from the German Hotel Association, that this was the innovation of the year for the hospitality industry, and we already had 5,000 hotels visiting this particular score in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Portugal, since we launched it already. Thanks very much again, Christina, for supporting this tool. And last but not least, Caroline, our head of marketing, is joining me on a Q&A session. This is a new word for questions and answers in the end. So we prepared some questions which reached us within the last few months, and it's already been a year, unfortunately, during the COVID situation, which might be helpful for you, which might give you some more insights on digital. What is important? Do you really need to spend a lot of money on currently ads, or do you rather focus on SEO, etc.? What is SEO? Are there low-hanging fruits? Can you support? And this is something we're going to have a dive into. And I'd love to invite all of you, please ask any questions at all, because the more questions you ask, the more we will be able to aim the whole Q&A session towards the needs on your particular market. And then Christina is going to sum up the whole meeting and is going to say a few words about that. So I'm very excited to start right now. So first of all, as I said, I'd love to pass on to Stephanie from Google, and I'm very excited to learn about the insights Google is going to present with us. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie, for introducing us. I hope the noise or the tone of the video arrived everywhere. I didn't receive it, unfortunately, but the visuals were quite great. So that was very nice. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Just one question, since you've been talking about the increase of video content, I know the format discovery ads from Google, so this is a very good way to initiate, for example, ads on YouTube, etc. Do you also receive in correlation, do you know an increase of discovery ads or of companies initiating discovery ads correlating to the 60% increase of video viewing?
Absolutely. Regarding all our video products, because we have different kind of placements that you can use, for example, bumper ads that are taking 6 seconds, or pre-rolls that are played before some of the other video content is going to start. And we can definitely see an increase in every of the video formats that we are offering at the moment.
Yeah, okay, lovely. And does anybody ever have, or you never had the chance to ask Google questions directly? So if you have a question correlating, please go ahead. Otherwise, you have later on during the Q&A session the possibility to talk to me, and possibly Stephanie can join me if I don't, or I'm not able to answer the particular question. But first of all, I'd love to introduce Stefan now, and he's going to have a word concerning the HDS. And HDS is the abbreviation for Hotel Digital Score. And Stefan, good luck and have a very nice intro to the whole thing.
Okay. Perfect, Philip. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you very much, Stephanie, for all the interesting content informations. Great. I will just share my screen so you guys can also see my presentation. All right. Great. So you should see it now. I just want to mention I'm working for Online Birds for 6 years now, consulted many clients in different fields of online marketing, and I was also responsible for the whole project management of the Hotel Digital Score. So to speak to you today, it's my great pleasure to present you this tool. And want to mention at this point also a big thank you to the AHP. We're very happy to be partners, and you guys brought a lot of value to this project to create the Portuguese language version that we're currently having live. So thank you very much for that. Today you will learn what this tool is all about, and especially, hopefully, I can give you some relevant information how you can use it in the current very difficult situations that we are facing all right now. First, just to give you a short overview, let me check why we created this tool. So yeah, in the beginning there was this idea, right, that we had. I guess it was back in 2016, 17, when we had first the first brainstorming to create this tool. In fact, Google also enabled us to make something bigger out of this idea. So we were very convinced. But to give you a feeling what we want to achieve with you, with the whole industry here, with that tool. Let's have a look at the initial situation in the hotel industry worldwide. You will see, there's the screen. So the marketing technology landscape is rapidly growing, right? So you know this also very well. You have thousands and thousands of providers, companies to choose. So it's quite hard to overlook all of these in order to find the right setup, to choose the right providers. And at the same time, as you all know, so we are not working in a hotel, but many of our employees also worked in a hotel, and we know this also from many conversations we had with the hotels, that the system landscape in a hotel is gaining in complexity, right? So you have PMS systems, you have an CRM, you have an CMS, and it's not easy to find the right setup in order to make your guests really happy, to find the right technical setup. and especially when it comes to distribution and online marketing. We have more and more providers. So basically what we saw in the end in the last years, that the winners mainly were the OTAs. They were winners because people love to go there and love to research and love to book there, right? So they are providing quite a good user experience. But we also know the commission costs. We know that you guys paying an average 50% per room booking to these OTAs, and they were gaining more and more power. So our message, always from the beginning, Philip can tell you later more about that, is that hotels shouldn't, for sure, not completely leave the OTAs, but also invest in own online marketing at the same time. Because it makes sense. You can save commission costs. It's important to create demand. It's important to catch the existing demand on Google, for example, and it will pay out in the end. So coming from this situation that we all knew, we were asking ourselves, how can we support every hotel worldwide in online marketing? And coming from this idea, we thought, let's create a tool that answers every hotelier's question. Philip can also tell you more later about that. But in many conversations that we have with potential clients, with our current clients, they are asking, how good am I in online marketing? Hotels maybe starting, haven't done a lot, maybe have done online marketing for a couple of years, and they just want to know their current standing, right? So you want to know your performance, where you're good, where you're bad, and you want to see the low-hanging fruits and the highest potentials. So this was the idea. Let's create this tool. Let's throw it for free on the market, so you will not get charged for any euro. It's completely free to use. Was quite a long effort. So the development phase took over 2 years. A lot of effort, a lot of sweating. When I'm honest, for sure. But we are super happy that we did it. We have great feedback from every country, from the DACH market. Yeah, and we're very proud to have it in Portuguese language, also now live, as a first country out of Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. So yeah, this was basically the idea. I would just explain you now what this tool is all about, so you can learn how you can use it, especially in the current situation. What is the Hotel Digital Score? So we have this reporting, and we have an automated analysis of 17 parameters in 5 main fields of online marketing. We have the website, we have search engine optimization, we have search engine advertising, social media marketing, and email marketing. These are basically also the 5 core departments at OnlineBirds. And we have all these 7 parameters. So what we basically do when you type in the URL on our tool is that we are crawling your website. We are crawling also external resources like social media channels. And then we are analyzing in the background with the rule work all these 17 parameters. We have put in all our knowledge and our experience in online marketing. And then we are summarizing it up in a very clear and sharp report for you to have an overview how you're currently performing in online marketing. So basically, you will see your scoring consisting from 0 to maximum 100 points. You have a very good reference point for online marketing performance. And we are creating also some comparability here, right? So you're also able to test your competitors. You're able to to type in any hotel URL, and you can compare your current standing and your performance in online marketing with other hotels, for example, also. And this is something we thought that's gaining a lot of value for you guys. When you will scroll down, I will have an example later. Then you will have also a detailed report. So we are explaining to you why you are performing good in these different fields, why you are performing very well, and how you can improve it. So we are providing a lot of detailed recommendations, so you are ready to start optimizing. And you can use this also as a checklist, right? Very important at this point to mention also, what I want to point out is that these are really basics in online marketing. We have 17 parameters. We don't make any claim for completeness here. And we're also extending this tool with different parameters. But when you request a report and you have, for example, a very high score of 90 or maybe even 100 points, this doesn't mean that you are doing perfectly well in online marketing. So these are just like really the basics in online marketing. And when we say, okay, you have a good scoring here, then you have the perfect basis to go on the next level and to improve your online marketing actions and measures. For example, when we will have a look at this slide here, you will see on the right side just an example how this report in detail looks like. We're explaining you why you are in SEO, for example, don't have your titles correctly set or headlines or meta descriptions. But these are just like 4 relevant points in SEO. For Google, we know that quite well also to rank very high in the SERPs, to rank for one special keyword very high in the SERPs. There are a lot of points to consider technically from content side, but we just took like 4 for Google very relevant points and summarized it here in the report to give you guys a feeling how well you are set up in this area. So that's basically the main target. You will also see here on the left side some concrete recommendations depending on your result. If you're doing well and not so well in SEO or search engine advertising, you will get displayed some links for blog articles to read further content, how to start with email marketing, what to do in social media marketing in times of Corona, for example. So I guess we're delivering quite high relevant content here. And after optimizing, you can also for sure go back again on our page and test your score again. So once you have took care on the area of social media marketing, for example, you can go back to our tool, test your score again, and see your improvements. I summarized it for you very quick. How does it work at all? It's very, very simple. You just go on this URL, hoteldigitalscore.pt. You type in your URL, perfectly copy paste it directly in the browser, from the browser. And then you get, after a short registration, which will take less than 1 minute, I promise, you will get an average 5 minutes, the report sent per email. So it's very, very easy. It's completely free to use. And then you will see the scoring, you will see the rating, the concrete tips for optimizations, and you're ready to go. I want to summarize for you also very quick the main values. You have a clear and short performance overview. You don't have to wait a couple of hours to get a result. You have it instant in just a few minutes. You get further content, you get further links and infos. Once you've registered, you will also receive our newsletter that we're providing also for our Online Birds clients with tips in Corona times, with some technology partners. So very high relevant content. And you will also see in the detailed report where I just showed you really concrete tips for the optimizations. Here just a few points that we are very proud of. So as Philip already said, we won the IHA Product Innovation of the Year 2019 with the German Hotel Association. And we have also great press feedback, both from German magazines, but also from Portuguese magazines already. We're extending our partner network that we have, mainly technology providers that you will find there. If you need some support in revenue management or need a booking engine, you will also find some tips here. And step by step, we want to get more international, and very proud that we did this first now in Portugal. Now I come to the first slide, and I guess hopefully some relevant points here for you. How you can use this tool now in the currently very unpleasant and very difficult situation in Corona. As we know, as Stephanie said, as Philip already said, and Christina as well, we are currently in time of lockdown. Like everything is closed, people are not traveling. So this is something we are completely aware of. But let me say, when you have the resources, when you have time, when you have resources, then you can use this report, you can use this tool to get prepared, to work, to readjust your strategy, to get inspirations on online marketing channels, and yeah, to get a feeling how you're doing in online marketing currently and do the right next steps. So Philip will also tell you later more about that, but I would say we have the kind of a proof of concept from the first lockdown phase, with many conversations and looking at the KPIs also from our clients, that the hotels who invested in online marketing still, not meaning maybe pushing all the advertisings with a lot of budget out exactly in the lockdown phase, but doing brand campaigns, taking the time, using the time to prepare a content strategy, to set up a newsletter, for example, and then preparing everything for the reopening. They came better out of the crisis then, and as soon as everything reopened, they were gaining a good occupancy rate and a lot of bookings. So yeah, online is now more important than ever. This is what we see, what everybody tells us for a couple of years, right? But at the moment, like, online is really even more important. Everybody is sitting at home and sitting in front of the laptop and researching. So with our tool, you can analyze the top potentials in your hotel marketing. You can see the low-hanging fruits, and then you can adapt it to your current situation and your priorities that you have currently in the hotel. As I said, get prepared for the next season, for the reopening. As Stephanie already said and recommended, readjusting strategies, finding inspirations is a good thing at the moment. So why not? It's a very difficult situation. So we maybe have to step out of the comfort zone, like many companies in many sectors, right? And with our tool, you can find many channels where you have potentials to create demand, to catch up the existing demand as soon as everything reopens. And you can identify channels as well for readjusting target groups, or trying out new target groups or markets, for example. At the same time, when everything will reopen, you know that you will have a lot of competition. The hotels will pitch for their guests, will do a lot of advertising, right? With our report, you can take advantage with the concrete marketing tips that we just put there. So also the branding campaigns is a very relevant topic. We recommended this to our clients in the first lockdown in March and April. Don't stop the branding campaign. People sitting at home and researching, and yeah, we saw that they were performing quite well also. Yeah, stay in touch with your guests. Communicate the measures you're taking in order to preserve your guests' well-being. It's also very important. If you haven't done anything on your website yet, you should probably also do it. You will find the website part already also in the report. So when you decide to create some kind of action package for your website, and you will put some Corona informations there anyways, why not have a look at the potentials that you will get displayed in our report and do many things in one step, for example. So these are just some low-hanging fruits with more or less effort, but step by step you can improve your performance. My recommendation is also to take one topic. So when you request this report, and you will see a lot of potentials. You will maybe not have a very good scoring, and then you see a lot of points to do, right? Pick one topic, pick one area, and combine it with your current situation, or maybe also with your current target that you have. For example, you will see in the report that you have potential in Google Ads. You're not running Google Ads at the moment. And your current customer base or your customer base in the past years existed of 80% guests from the UK, for example. At the moment, nobody's traveling from the UK because of the known reasons. And let's say, hopefully, in the next couple of months, in Germany, Austria, maybe in other countries, everything will reopen step by step, and we will be more allowed to travel. So why not taking the chance and why not trying out different markets with Google Ads or social media ads, for example, and display some ads in this special markets and see how it works. Also, for example, when you are currently using the time and reconstructing something on your hotel, doing something new on your spa, for example, then you're checking this report. You see your potentials in Instagram and in Facebook. For example, you will also see your posting frequency. So we're giving you concrete recommendations how often you should post on Instagram and on Facebook. So you see this potential, combine it with your current situation. You have something new to promote in your hotel. You have to stay in contact with your guests anyway regarding social media marketing. So then you can focus really on that topic for a few weeks, set up a strategy, and increase the posting frequency, for example. Also, one more example is, for example, when you want to save sales costs or distribution costs, then why not putting the focus a little bit more on customer loyalty using the channel of email marketing. You will see this also in the report. If you have already email marketing or not, you have some concrete recommendations there. And then you could set up a newsletter or create a strategy. Some clients of us did this as well. So they're using the current lockdown phase to set up a new email marketing strategy because they know they have such a strong customer base and they want to inform them over this channel. So yeah, these were just a few examples. I guess that Philip will tell you more now later. You can also ask us questions regarding these topics. And then I would like to say thank you very much for listening. It was a really great pleasure. If you have any questions in advance, please don't hesitate to tell us. And then I will probably hand over to Philip. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for your detailed insights on the HDS report and all the recommendations you have been asking. So first of all, to sum this up or to wrap it up, as an American would say, the thing is that the HDS was originally created to educate the hospitality industry, because we think it's very, or there are only companies out there in the world trying to deliver the best product. But we think it would be the greatest to become the market leader in knowledge transfer, because this is what we realized when we started 9 years ago, and we're still a very young company, but when it comes to online, we're very old. The thing is that we realized that it does not matter if we take a closer look to the UK, to Spain, to Portugal, to Germany, to Austria, to Switzerland. All hoteliers are masters in the business of hotel. So, but online marketing is something which is so quick, which is so let's say decisive, especially the term marketing. I personally think is the wrong term for what we're doing, because it's crucial. It decides whether you have traffic on your website or not. And mostly we had the idea to educate hoteliers with the HDS, and this is why we made it for free. So we're not allowed to say for free. The lawyers told me, because you have to give in your email address, and the email address has a value. But let's say we give it away without you being charged for that. But in the end, as Stefan said already, these are the low-hanging fruits, as we say. Because SEA, when I'm saying SEA, I'm talking about Google Ads. SEO, I'm talking about search engine optimization, which means not in the paid section at Google, but below, and social media. These are the three basic channels to stay in contact with your customers. And if you are not professionally handling them, the HDS will tell you. It's a completely, there are no strings attached. So we have no commitment to Google, you have no commitment to us. So what we deliver you is a crawler, which is completely giving you an insight on how you perform. And based on that particular score, it's not only a number, but we also give you recommendations. So we realize, for example, on social media, you're not posting enough. So your posting frequency might be too low in order to address customers. So this might be a thing which we analyze, and then we recommend you, for example, for your property, you should post at least 3 times in order to gain visibility throughout social media. So this is what the whole thing has been created for. And I think this is the basis of starting to understand where you and your hotel business stand. So, and this is actually, we have clients like Luna Hotels, as you might know, or hotels in Lisbon, like the Lumiares, etc. It all started with a basis or an analysis of how they are working. And then we start to define what will be the target of the hotel manager, and some of them addressed us March last year. You might recall we had one of those conferences already 1 year ago when the whole crazy Corona thing started, and they asked us, what can we do? How can we stay in contact with the customers that they come to us at first after the lockdown ends? And this is the basis to find out where you stand. So currently there has been one thing which was there have been a few questions asked already throughout the chat. So if you want to, I'll quickly grab those questions at first before we head into our regular Q&A session. But one question was, or one hotelier was asking regarding online advertising, how should hotels or what should hotels do, especially in closure times? We're going to talk about that later, but when it comes to closure times, it's obvious Google only satisfies an existing demand. This can be explained throughout an example very easily. So when I'm Googling, for example, nice boutique hotel Lisbon, then you can be visible throughout SEO or SEA in order to gain a good ranking there. So, but if nobody is Googling for keywords such as boutique hotel Lisbon, you can initiate the best Google ads, you can do the best SEO, it doesn't bring you traffic. This is why you always have to understand Google satisfies an existing demand. New demand is created throughout social media. That means, for example, social media gives you the advantage to address people proactively. So you can define a target group and can say, for example, I'd love to address the people between the age of 30 and 60, for example, who have been already at the Algarve, maybe with one of my competitors, and who are interested in nature, culinary arts, whatever, and address them proactively and can say, hey, guys, this is who we are. This is who we stand for, or what we stand for. This is what we do, as Stephanie already said in her presentation. This is what we do in order to prevent becoming the next Corona hotspot when it comes to hygiene aspects, etc. And please follow us on social media. And then there is the conclusion to content, already mentioned by Stephanie as well in advance. Content is all you have. The better the content, meaning to have the right content at the right time for the right target group, the more successful you will be. And it's the oldest principle in human being or human history as it has been. If you have something interesting to say, the people are listening. I mean, I'm experiencing it with my neighbors, with the bakery in the morning, with the bus driver, you know. I'm a very friendly person. I have to admit, I say that for myself. You have to ask my colleagues if they think the same. But I like to chat with people, and I like to learn about cultures, about how people think, to broaden my horizon. But the more interesting the conversation gets, the more I'm stuck in the conversation. And it's the same with marketing in the end. And online marketing is just a new word, or it's a new channel for something you did months or years ago throughout print campaigns, you know, the big billboards in cities, etc. Those times are, and PR people and print people will kill me, but I'm convinced those times are over and gone. It does not mean that you don't have to communicate with nice brochures, etc. But you have to think of, who are you going to send this brochure? Am I sending a nice print brochure to the people? They are always coming to me. They're coming once or twice a year, spending this amount of money. Or are you sending it to the people always booking the best available rate throughout booking.com, not leaving any revenue in your hotel, going to Burger King around the door in Lisbon? So this is something you have to define. So it's all about data. And data is the oil of the future. And you have data, or we, as I told you, I'm a hotelier myself, I was. we have data other companies would pay millions for. We know financial data. We know how people consume, if they like white wine, red wine, if they are allergic to something, etc. And we have all that data and we're not using it. And this is a huge chance we have here. And as a private hotel, you don't need to buy an expensive CRM system to make use of that big data. You could use the big data intelligence of other providers. And those are Google, those are Facebook, etc. So this is what you pay for. You pay for their data intelligence because Google knows, as Stephanie already said, this is the market. These are the things that people are going to look for. And these possibly are emerging markets. And we're going to dive in that later, Caroline. I don't want to get too deep into that topic, but this is an amazing chance. And I wanted to engage you there in order to make sure that it always starts with an analysis. It's the same like when I'd love to have a garden. So when I start gardening and having tomatoes in my garden, I always have a look at the floor, if the floor is good for tomatoes or it's rather potato floor. You know, it always starts with an analysis. And this is what the HDS provides you for free. So you don't need to pay for expensive consultants, etc. Have a look at the HDS and find out how you perform. And secondly, there was a question asked, and this might be due to your presentation, Stephanie, because it's concerning vouchers, because you have been recommending rather do a financial refund instead of vouchers. If you want to jump in as well, but I can just presume why you have been suggesting that, because as a private person, I had, in 2019, I was 140 times in an airplane. I was traveling so many times. I have 2 little children at home. It was a disaster. So I always wanted to be at home. And as you can imagine, for 2020, I already had 20 flights booked. What did the airlines do? They gave me vouchers. So now I have vouchers for like 20 flights, but I'm not using them anymore and they're extending it, etc., etc. So you rather have some cash in your pocket instead of a voucher where you do not know when to use it. And that might be the reason. But Stephanie, if you want to jump in and have something to add, you're more than welcome to do so. I hope you can unmute yourself. Unfortunately not, no, but am I hitting the point? You can nod or at last, yeah, okay, I am. That's a good thing. So we're aligned when it comes to the reason. And yeah, and last but not least, there has another question occurred for a chain hotel in which every hotel has an individual landing page. How does that tool work? Unfortunately, we created that tool particularly, it's a very good question, thank you very much for asking that, for privately held hotels. Because the thing is, if you are a chain hotel, you're more than welcome to type in your email address and then we will analyze the whole chain manually. The reason is it's a crawler. And the bigger the website, the longer the analysis takes. And when it's a chain hotel, it takes ages. And this is why we do it manually. So we do an analysis for chain hotels, but therefore you just quickly send us an email. We have to do it manually, unfortunately. All privately held hotels or even private groups with up to 5 hotels can be crawled fully automatically. But we most certainly provide a free analysis for chain hotels as well. And last but not least was there another question, how can we get social media posts frequency about our business? Well, you just easily, as I said, punch in your URL, and then you get your HDS analysis. And when it comes to the field of social media, we for example, analyze how often you communicate and give you a recommendation. What would be the, but there is, in general, it's not a huge topic in general. There is the theory of a communication funnel, meaning you can over communicate or under communicate. And to stick in that funnel with perfect communication, you should post 3 times a week per channel, meaning 3 times on Facebook, 3 times on Instagram, then you're right in that communication funnel of the perfect frequency to communicate with your customers. But again, just speak when you have to say something. If you are posting, you know, menus, whatever, all at the same time, it doesn't really make sense. So, and that's to get back to the beginning. But now I'd love to give Caroline a word because she is heading and waiting and very eager to engage the Q&A session. But if you have any other questions at all, please ask us and we would love to answer them, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I already shared my screen. I hope you can see it. So let me introduce myself shortly. So I'm Carolyn, and I'm the head of the marketing at OnlineBirds, and I'm part of OnlineBirds since 2012 when OnlineBirds was founded. And I'm really looking forward to guiding you through our Q&A session in the next couple of minutes. And how will it work? So perhaps some of you already know the procedure from our webinar last year. We have already collected some of the questions that hotels have asked us in the last weeks. And I will address these questions to Philip, and he will answer them. And at the same time, please feel free, as Philip said, ask questions, use the chat function here, and I will pick the question up and hand them over to Philip. And feel free to ask the question in English or in Portuguese, because our colleague Deborah will translate it for us, and so we can pick these questions up as well. So now we already clarified the framework and the conditions, and so we can start. And first of all, and in line with the presentation of Google, we would like to take a look at the developments of the travel market in Europe in general, and give you some overview based on our market experience. So my first question, Philip, how does COVID-19 affect the travel in Europe in 2021? What do you think?
Yes, thank you very much, Caroline. The most important thing is that I'm thinking, so I'm not having the ability to look into the clear future, but the things I'm going to share with you are based on clients we're having in 12 countries, as I said. So we are currently not operating only in the DACH region, where we're one of the market leaders, but also in the UK. We have projects in Spain, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, in Portugal, as agreed, even in America. So, and to give you an insight on the travel in Europe, and this is what Christina and me discussed early on in front of the public section of this presentation again, is that I'm personally convinced when it comes to Portugal, that Portugal will be one of the winners of the crisis again. But as always, with all the other countries within Europe, it has to do something with how long can you proceed. You know, the thing is, because I'm convinced that international travel will be declining massively. People will not be traveling mostly to the US, Africa, or the Bahamas, as we joked earlier on, because I think people want to stick within the radius of, even if they have, for example, a vaccine already received, they don't really know, are there any side effects? We don't know how long are they lasting in the end. And, you know, if you're on vacation, and this is where I invite you all to try to think from yourself onwards to the whole population in Europe, people want to be within a time frame of 3 to 4 hours away from home. Because if they get sick, if somebody else out of the family gets sick, they want to be back quite easily. And this is one of the main reasons why European travel will massively increase, especially Portugal, because Portugal has been always, for the German people, for people from Spain, etc., very interesting. UK, there is a huge question mark for me. That's mainly because of the Brexit, first of all, and secondly, that people don't really know how they are coping with that situation. I have a lot of friends in the UK because I used to live and work in London in a hotel. Claridge is a nice property there, and so I'm very, very well in contact with people there. And from the UK, I think there might be a big question mark, and I know it's a very important market for you. With the Americans, yeah, that'll take a time, as you might consider. So you should rather focus on countries which are close to Portugal. I think France is a country which might be interesting for you. The DACH region, when I'm talking about the DACH region, I might mean Germany, Austria, Switzerland, the German-speaking part of Switzerland, and Spain might be something interesting to address as well, yeah, for Portugal.
Okay, thank you, Philip. So we had one question. It was about if we can share the presentation afterwards. And yes, we can share the presentation afterwards, but we are not allowed to share the part of Google. So we have to cut this part off, but everything else we will share with you. And but now I will go over again to the next question. Because yeah, we are all in a lockdown, and Philip, perhaps you can say some words. Is it a good idea to invest in online marketing now, and why?
Yeah. As said early on already, it is the best idea you could do. And it does not matter with whom you do it. I suppose some of you already have a marketing agency or somebody who is initiating online marketing for you guys. So you should focus on online marketing right now, because the reason is quite obvious. Everybody is at home. Everybody is desperate for traveling. I am desperate. All the people, there has been just recently a research in the German-speaking area that I think 65% of all the people are already waiting for the end of the lockdown in order to book something in a sunny area, etc. And this is just considering Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So I suppose it'll be the same for other countries in Europe as well. So there is a huge interest in travel, as Stephanie already mentioned as well. And I'm quite convinced there is just one channel to get to those particular customers, which is online. I mean, they are at home and they are not leaving home within the next few months. And most of the people, even if the lockdown is finished, are starting to work in a new environment, because we're facing a completely new work situation when it comes to business, etc. So many people will stay at home. Staycation has been already mentioned by Stephanie, but one huge trend is very important for Portugal as well, which might be workation. For those of you who haven't heard of it, many people will actually, due to the new work situation, for example, travel to Portugal, to the Algarve, to Porto, to Lisbon, and work there from a hotel or even an Airbnb flat. It does not really matter, or a service apartment company, it does not really matter. They work there, but when they finish work, they rather spend some time at the beach. They rather spend some time in Lisbon city area instead of, well, let's say Berlin, grayish Berlin you see in the winter. So this is a huge trend which is occurring in clients of us, sub-brands from Accor Hotels, 25 Hours, it's a design brand, for example. They are already focusing on that market and addressing those customers. It does not mean you have to do it completely, but it's still one emerging market due to the new business situation. So there will be many people coming to Portugal and working there, and then in the evening going out, because it's easier, you know, to be in a nice environment instead of the same at all the time. So this is something you have to consider, especially when it comes to your rates, because you might not be able to offer the same rates as you do for leisure travel, but you will receive longer stays. So this is very interesting. And the second thing is, online marketing gives you, as said, the only chance to meet the hygiene aspects, because I don't know if you guys, for example, change the whole customer journey in the hotel, but in Germany, for example, there is a huge trend that hotels are initiating new technology in the hotel, that people don't necessarily need to come to the reception desk. That's mainly in business hotels, I have to admit, but they could rather check in with their mobile phone, etc. So this is something you have to keep in mind, because I think Corona changed our thinking of hygiene massively. And I talked with my wife recently about it, because I told her in China, for example, people were used to wear masks for over years, since SARS. You remember the first infection rate we had there. And we as Europeans, it's not part of our culture to wear masks, and I hate it, but I somehow think this might become part of our new way to live, etc. And the hygiene aspects will get, let's say, a larger impact on how people to decide whether to stay at a hotel who does more of those measures or not. And to break it down, in order to address customers, it always comes to online marketing. Yeah.
So as you said, it is a good idea to invest in online marketing, but we have a few channels. And which online marketing channels are the most promising right now? Perhaps you can sum it up. You already talked a little bit about it, but perhaps you can sum it up briefly.
Yeah, for sure. Especially Stefan mentioned already a few things which are very well. I mean, one thing, and it's very difficult for me to say that, because at some point I know many hotels are suffering currently, etc. But we are overrun with new clients, because most of hotels realize they have to do something now. And the thing is, what are they asking us to do for them? It's mainly SEO, search engine optimization. It's mainly social media strategies, and it's being prepared for paid, meaning Google ads, hotel ads, etc. But the most important channels during lockdown are, first of all, SEO, because SEO is always a long-term thing. So when you start Google ads tomorrow, you'll be visible the day after tomorrow. That's lovely. When you know the lockdown ends, we want to target a group, Google ads is the way to go. But when you start SEO tomorrow, it takes 3 to 4, even 5 months to gain good organic rankings. So it's a long-term thing. It's a marathon, if you want to compare it with that. So, and this actually opens now the view towards you guys, that you have to start as early as you can, because when travel comes back, online marketing will explode. I mean, Google Ads, you all know it's a CPC thing. So meaning the more people bid on a particular set of keywords, the higher the cost per click is going to be. So and if everybody is like initiating ads on Hotel Lisbon, the click is exploding. So that's very important. SEO is one of the most important channels right now, because organically you can position yourself in between Booking.com, Expedia, because they are focusing on so-called short tail keywords like Hotel Lisbon, like Hotel Algarve. And you don't want to compete, because the customer which is looking, or who's looking for such keywords, does not really know what kind of hotel he or she wants. So you shouldn't pay money on those short tail keywords. You should rather focus on keywords such as 4-star boutique Hotel Lisbon. Many hotels tell me when I advise them to do so, well, but 90% don't look that way. They look, as we agreed on, Hotel Lisbon, etc. But those 5% of customers who know, they initiate a booking. And that's the good thing. So the conversion rates are very high when you initiate long tail Google ad campaigns. And the good thing is you're addressing the right target crowd. Yeah, so that's the SEO measure. And social media mainly is one of the channels to get in contact with your customers, or to stay in contact with your customers when it comes to communicating. Facebook was said to be dead in advance before Corona started. Numbers were decreasing, etc. And this is why Facebook bought, Instagram bought WhatsApp in order to get to the next level of online marketing. But now Facebook is one of the main channels which is selling when it comes to social media. So Facebook sells. And this is something you have to consider as well, because as we found out earlier, you can directly address customers throughout Facebook. And this is one way to now get customers to follow you, and particularly get the right customers to follow you. Yeah. So these are the two main channels with SEA when the booking phase starts.
Okay, perfect. So we have to come to an end slowly. So it's the last time for all the participants to ask questions, because we have a lot of more things to tell you. But yeah, time is running. And yeah, Philip, perhaps you would like to say some last sentences, and then we can hand over to the AHP again.
Yeah, I definitely can. Yesterday I was joking that I prepared a dance, because I think there is not much more important to love during these dark days. And I have to admit, and this is something I'd love to share with you, and I've been to Portugal so many times, and I've met so many nice hotels. I spoke to so many hotel managers and owners, and I met nearly all people from the AHP. We went to lunch several times, etc. So there is a huge potential in the Portuguese market, and we strongly believe in the Portuguese market, not only with customers there, but also when it comes to travel. And this is why we did initiate and invest money, because we are paying this, as I said, in advance out of our own pocket, the AHTS creation. This is why we translated it and adapted it for the Portuguese market, because we think you guys will prevail, and you will even come out of this crisis even stronger. But please be aware, classic marketing channels are good when you are communicating with current or already existing customers. But to address new customers, you would need to focus on online marketing. Online marketing makes the difference. It does make the difference, and it's crucial. And please check your score on the HDS. If you have any questions at all, write us emails. I mean, we all stay in contact. We have people working in Lisbon directly if you want to talk in Portuguese. As I said, we understand, or I understand most of Portuguese, but unfortunately not speak it yet. I'm working on that. And all my other colleagues are available at any time, and we would love to be of any support. And even if you don't know what to do, give us a ring. We don't charge by the minute. We're going to help you. Anyway, thank you very much.
So it is back to me again, Caroline.
Yes, right. So back to you.
Okay, so questions are in. I think that this moment of questions and answers were quite crucial, I do think. And so I thank to Philip, Stephanie, Stefan, and Caroline for being with us during this morning. And I would like to end as I started, saying that COVID-19 is proving to be a catalyst in the travel and tourism sector's quest for innovation and the integration of new technologies. And so with Philip's message of hope, and I do think that we are quite well positioned as an industry in one hand, and the other as a country who really adopt the way to digitalization in all sectors, to be in the front line when the resume of the tourism activity starts. So once again, I do think that we are in the front line. It's wonderful to count with all these partners that approached AHP during this time and before. So I do hope that you can count on us. And if you have any other needs and questions to do and to make, and if you want to share with us, our associates, if you want to share with us other needs, other questions, other quests for innovation and the integration of new technologies, we are open to it. And so I do hope that this was a useful webinar, and thank again, and see you next time. Bye. And I hope, Philip, that you can spend some time of your next vacations in Portugal with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I will.